G'day and welcome to another video. In today's lesson we are going to learn how to make this really simple top. It is made up of two granny squares and we join them around the side and make a band across the bottom, and we join it at the shoulders and then finish off the neck. It is a really easy project, so I would recommend it for beginners. If you know how to make a granny square, then you're going to find this project really easy. If you don't know how to make a granny square, I will put a link for you in the description box below, and that will take you to a video to show you how to make a granny square. It doesn't matter how you make a granny square if you already know how to do one. I do a chain 2 in the corner and no chains across the straight edge, but if you do yours slightly different to that, it really doesn't matter. It's just however you make your granny square, go with that. And yeah, it's a really easy project. It's easy to join. Got a band of single crochet. You could even use half double crochet if you wanted, but I like how the single crochet pulls it in a bit to sit on your hips. Yeah, it's joined across, like I said, at the shoulders. Turn around so you can see the back. It's the same front and back. I've used this colour just to use up my stash. I have used Red Heart Super Saver in the colour Heather Grey, but you could use, and that's a worsted weight yarn or a 10-ply yarn, but you could easily make this using a 8-ply or a double knit yarn. It doesn't matter the thickness of yarn that you use, it's just the size of the granny square, and you just keep going. And I'll show you how to measure it all and everything in the video. So it's just a matter of getting the measurement. I probably wouldn't use the really bulky yarn, the really super chunky thick stuff, because it won't have any drape to it. We also use a big size granny, oh sorry about the sun there guys. We use a big what am I talking about? A crochet hook. Yeah, we use a big crochet hook so that we get a loose fabric. I don't know if you can see that. My viewfinder's not being very friendly. There we go. Yeah, you can see it's a looser tension that you would normally use. I've used, pretty sure it's a 9mm crochet hook, but you'll see that in the next video clip what I used. To get a looser fabric. Normally this uses a 5.5, which is a eye-size crochet hook. I'm not sure what a 9 is, but yeah, as you can see, it's a lot bigger than what you would normally use. So I really hope that you enjoy this video, so let's get started on the lesson. I would like to say a huge thank you to Red Heart for supplying the yarn in this video. If you would like to buy some Red Heart yarn, you can buy it from redheart.com. They also ship to Australia, so if you're an Australian like myself, you can still get some awesome Red Heart yarn. I've weighed my top and it weighs 295 grams. I'm not sure what that is in ounces, but I will put the measurement across, the weight across the screen for you so that you know if you need to know it in ounces. Each ball that I'm using is 141 grams, so I've used two whole balls plus a bit more. I did use scrap yarn, so it's not all the same colour dye lot on the one I used, but it doesn't matter because I was using up scrap yarn. So yeah, like I said, it was 295, so two of these will be 282 grams, so I've used what, 10-13 grams more. So yeah, two whole ones plus a little smidge. For our supplies, we're going to need 2 stitch markers. These are optional, you may not need to use them, but I did actually use them when I made my top. A yarn needle with a large eye, a pair of scissors, a crochet hook that's going to give you loose tension. I chose to use a 9mm crochet hook. I'm not sure what that is in letters. Again, I will put this across the screen. I will look it up on my computer as I'm editing. But anything that gives you loose tension, and quite loose tension at that. I used the colour Grey Heather in Red Heart Super Saver. And like I said before, these are a 5 ounce or 141 gram ball. And it's 236 yards or 215 meters. And I used 2 of these plus a little bit more. Like I said, I was using up my stash. I had sort of partial balls, so I didn't actually use 2 full ones. that were like, you know, hadn't been used, they were sort of, I had about 3 or 4 balls that were just all partial skeins, so I just put them all together, and that's how much it weighed altogether. So this is a 10 ply. You can see here it recommends a 5.5mm crochet hook. This is about equivalent to a 10 ply yarn or a worsted weight yarn in America, or around about an Aran size in the UK. But this pattern is really good, so you can use up any thickness of yarn that you have. Like I said in the intro, I wouldn't suggest the really thick stuff. I'm not sure what you call it where you live, but like that really sort of almost looks like rope. I wouldn't recommend that thick, but as long as it's able to drape, so an 8 ply or a double knit, and this is a 10 ply or worsted weight, I think that would be good. Even a chunky yarn, as long as it's soft and it drapes when you use a bigger size crochet hook. So yeah, that's what our supplies are, so let's get started with the rest of the video. We are going to make 2 granny squares, and I have used a worsted weight yarn. This is Red Heart Super Saver in the colour, I think pretty sure it's Grey Heather. And my granny square is approximately 20 inches across. 20 inches across, and that is about 50 centimetres. So I've got 2 there, and this one still has the yarn attached because we're going to crochet across the top here. So when you're making your second one, don't cut off your yarn. So I have my granny square, and the way I worked out how big I needed it, and as you know, it's the same all the way around, like the same size because it's a square. I kept going, and I just placed it on top of myself like that. And where you would have a seam for a jumper or a top, like you might be able to see a seam here, I sort of lined it up with there, and then went around the other side and then lined it up with that. And you don't want it super tight because it will stretch. I mean, I have sort of a bigger bust than I should have for my body frame, so that's pretty much how it's going to sit. I hope you can see that. I can't see much in the viewfinder, but that is how it's going to sit. And we're going to like sew up seams and stuff, and then crochet across the top there. So you can see that it will sit sort of little tiny bit off your shoulder, like past your shoulder. And it has a bit of stretch to it too. You can see that it stretches a little bit because it's got loose tension. So once you have your 2 squares, I'm going to show you them both together so you can see what they're like, and we can continue on with our project. We're going to get our first granny square, and this has got the good side facing down, so the good side's on the carpet, and you can see the back side of the granny square facing us. We're going to get our other granny square, and this one is still got the yarn attached. So just seeing what's the good side. Okay, the side that we're looking at now is our good side, and that is going to go good side facing up. So what we're doing is putting our, actually I had that wrong, sorry. This is the good side, and that is the back of the work. So we're going to put our wrong sides together. So laying it down, I've got my yarn still attached in the top left corner. Placing it on top of each other. So the yarn is, where are we? Where's my hand? There we go. Where's my hand? That sounded weird. Attached to my arm. Okay, so we have our 2 granny squares on top of each other, and up the top here, where is it? There we go. Up the top here, it's still attached to this top granny square, and we're going to crochet across. So I have the yarn attached to this granny square, and I've got the other square underneath. And what we're going to do, we're just going to slip stitch them together at the moment. And if your yarn is still attached like mine, you want to be over in the corner space here. So if you finished off your granny square, you'll need to slip stitch across and then make sure you're there. If your yarn has been cut already, you just want to attach your yarn into the corner space there. We're going to go into the corner space on the back granny square. So after we've done our chain 3, we will slip stitch into the corner space of the other granny square, and this is the back granny square, so we're going to go in there with a slip stitch. Then we're going to double crochet back down into the chain space on the square that's on the bottom, the top one, so this one that's facing us. And then slip stitch into the double crochet of the granny square that's on the bottom, which is this one here. So slip stitch into there. Working along the double crochets here, we're going to double crochet in there. So it's the first, we double crocheted into the top of the stitch there. Going up to the top granny square, which is up here, we're going to find the next available stitch, go in there with our crochet hook and work a slip stitch. Go to the granny square that's down here, we're going to work a double crochet. Up to the top here, we're going to find the next available, so see how it's joined here, next available stitch is there. I'm going to work a slip stitch. Find the next available stitch down the bottom here and double crochet. Go up to the top square and slip stitch. And we're going to find the next available stitch down here. Make sure you don't skip a stitch like I did just before. You won't see that part because I actually edited it out. Slip stitch at the top one, double crochet in the bottom one, slip stitch in the top one, and you're just finding the next available stitch that you haven't worked into. And then you're going to work across, and I worked out I need to do 3 shells to make it sit on me okay. And you want to go far enough so that you have enough for a shoulder, but you don't want to go too far so that you close up the hole for your neck. So, oops, I've already cut my yarn off, like I said, I stuffed it up before. Slip stitch. Let's see if I've done that right. Yeah, that's better. So you will need to sew in that end. But I'm trying to see if I can get it in the camera properly. It's all the same colour, so it all kind of blends in. But you'll see that now that's joined both granny squares together. Okay, so we want to do the same for the other side. So this is the other shoulder. And you are going to join your yarn. So you're going to go into the chain hole, into there, just pull your yarn through, join that in, chain up 3. Might be better if you kind of pull that back square out a bit. That might be easier. So we are going to, oh sorry guys, sorry, I'm going to join it into one square. I have not filmed for 4 weeks. I took some time off for personal reasons, and I can tell. I'm having a shocker. So 1, 2, 3. You won't notice it in the video, but there's actually sections I've filmed 4 times. Yep. So we're going to have our chain 3 attached to this granny square. Then we're going to slip stitch into that top corner. That's right, because we need the gap between there. It wouldn't have worked the other way. We're going to double crochet down into the same chain space. And then slip stitch up into the chain space. Double crochet into the double crochet down here. And slip stitch into the first, first double crochet up there. Oh, did I mention I'm having a shocker? Double crochet down here. And slip stitch up there. And work across so you have the same amount as what you did on the other side, but do not cut your yarn. I'm going to show you what to do around the neck. So we have the second side joined, and I'm just trying to show you. Second side is joined, and you will still have your yarn attached. And now we're just going to, this is going to get really fiddly because it's so big. So what I've done is, it would have been crocheted that way across, and I've just turned it so I'm on the side. And I'm going to work single crochet loosely around the neck opening. Just going into each stitch for a single crochet. You don't want to work this too tight because it's going to, well, I guess if you want the neck hole a bit smaller, then you could try that, but I think it would look a bit strange. I haven't tested the theory, but I think it would look weird if it was really tight. When we get back to the beginning where we did the single crochet, we're just going to do a slip stitch to join. So after we've done our first round of single crochet, we're going to do another one. So we're going to chain 1. And we're going to single crochet in the same space. And then single crochet in every stitch around. So this will be my second round of single crochet around the neckline. You can do as many as you like. I think I'm just going to stick with 2. And to go around, and I'll meet you when we're ready to join this round. I'm just going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. And then we can cut off our yarn. We're going to use the same method that we just used there when we joined one side of the shoulder and then we single crocheted around the opening. We're going to use that same method when we do it the sides of our top. So we can cut our yarn and then pull that through. And you will need to sew that one in. And when I got to the neck, like where it went, where our double crochets were there, there was a gap here. I just did a double crochet into there. A single crochet. Where is it? There. Single crochet just into that. You can see I just put one into there, just in case you were wondering. So now we have a granny square with a neck hole and it's not joined. So now you need to join the side parts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same method that I used for the shoulder, and I'm going to, as you can see my ends aren't sewn in, I'm going to attach it into the corner of both sides of the granny, and then I'm going to stitch up there in the exact same way that we did for the shoulder piece. So I'm not going to show you that part because it's exactly the same thing. You just need to crochet a bit further. So you may want to, if you're trying it on for yourself, maybe grab some stitch markers to where you want to crochet up to. Where's the middle? There. I would say that is probably a pretty good guide where you want to go to. Yeah, I'm thinking halfway mark. Obviously it depends on what body shape you've got, but for me that is a great guide to go to. Alrighty, so go ahead and do that. I'm going, like I said, use the centre. The viewfinder on this camera is so small I cannot see. I think it's here. Yep. I'm going to crochet my sides up to around about the centre. So drawing, you know, invisible line across to there, and then join up here. I have finished joining the sides and the top of the top. Just try to turn it around so you can see. I've done the opening. I've done 2 rounds of single crochet like we did for the neck, and I've done all the joining down here. I'll turn her around. There we go. So now we're just going to start the bottom edge. So we're going to go down here. And we're going to do the bottom edge, and we're just going to do some rounds of single crochet. You might already know how to do that, but I will show you anyway. So hang on a minute and we'll go back to the workstation. This is the bottom edge, and this is where I have joined along here. So you can pretty much join wherever you want to, but if you join it on one of the sides, where our join is from the side of our project, and it's not going to show as much as if you did it right in the middle of your project. So grabbing your yarn, just put it over the top of your crochet hook. Get over there. There we go. Pull through. Some people do a slip knot onto their crochet hook and join it that way. Then you can do it any way you like. And what are we doing? Single crochet, so we don't need to do many chains because we don't need it. We're just going to single crochet into the corner space and each stitch across, so into the top of every double crochet that we did on the granny square. If you made a granny square and you did a chain in between your groups of shells, then do a single crochet into the chain, or you could work it into the chain space. So that means you either go into the chain through here, or you would go actually into the space there. It's up to you. If you need to make the band on the bottom of your top, that didn't sound right. If you need to make a band around the bottom and you want to make it a bit tighter, you can skip your chain spaces if you've got them, or you can drop down a smaller crochet hook. I find when I do single crochet it does work up tighter anyway, so I have to watch that sometimes so I don't do it too tight. So I think this is going to look good just with the same size crochet hook. So continue all the way around. When we get to back to the beginning, we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet, chain up one, and then go around again for another single crochet round. So do as many rounds as you like. I might actually I did 2 around the arms, but I might see how it looks after I've done my 2, and I might end up doing sort of 3 or 4. So I'll see you when we finish our bottom band. When we get to the end, I did go with the 4 rounds. We've slip stitched to join, and now we can just finish off. So just pull that through. Grab some scissors. Cut off enough yarn so you can sew in your ends. Pull that through, and then sew in any ends that you have. I've got a few from when starting granny squares and joining yarn in and stuff for going around armholes and things. So, hi guys, here is my finished top. I think it looks really, really cool. I've got a mirror over here that I can look into. I think it's really cool. I love how when you crochet around the sleeves that it just it brings them in a little bit, and also around the band of the granny square, it brings that in a little bit, because the single crochet is a smaller stitch than the double crochet, which is what we used for the actual granny square. So very, very cool. So you can make these in any, in any colour that you that you like. I just used all grey. I was using up scrap yarn that I had. I got a big stash, so I wanted to use up some of my stash. So yeah, I think this looks really cool. And the great thing about it is when you put it on, like a normal t-shirt has a front and a back, this doesn't. So it doesn't matter what way you put it on, as long as it's the right way out. Yeah, you just chuck it on. So great if you're in a hurry. So I hope you like that. I've got a long, the sun, oh it's so nice and warm. I have a long sleeve t-shirt under mine because it's actually winter here, and yeah. So you could wear this with a singlet, or you might call it a tank top, which is just the strapless tops that you wear. You could probably use it to put, you could wear a bikini or something under it if you wanted. If you were just in summer, like a pair of shorts. You know, there's endless ways to style it up with however you want. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. I've just cut my own head off in my video camera. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share your creation on our Facebook page. We'd love to see what you've been up to. Share this video with your friends, and yeah, thanks for watching. Till next time, happy crochet. Bye.